Hold the front page with a new angle on Weakest Link.
Here are the 9 celebrities preparing for tonight's show. Only one of them can win up to £50,000 for a charity of their choice. The others will leave with nothing, as one by one they're voted off as the weak.
If they want the prize money, they'll have to work as a team. But 8 of them will leave with nothing, as round by round we lose the player voted the weakest link. Let's meet the hacks.
I'm Andrew Neil. I've written for or edited the Sunday Times, The Economist, the Daily Mail and Vanity Fair. I've also been in television for almost as long as Anne Robinson.
I'm Liz Jones. I'm a columnist for the Daily Mail and the Mail on Sunday. I'm a very private person. I hope that Anne doesn't ask me any probing personal questions.
I'm Kevin O'Sullivan, the Sunday Mirror's Mr. Nasty. I'm supposed to be even nastier than Anne.
I'm Polly Vernon. I'm a writer and editor for The Observer. I interview celebrities and write about fashion and style, and I think Anne might hate me.
I'm David Aronovich, columnist for the Upmarket Times. I expect to be big on politics and international affairs, smaller perhaps on wives and girlfriends.
I'm Martin Dordney, editor of Lads Mag Loaded, and it's my lifelong ambition to get Anne to pose nude for our cover.
I'm Sharon Marshall, and that was sucking up, can I say? I've done 10 years on Fleet Street, and now I'm the TV reporter for This Morning.
I'm Toby Young, and I'm the Eddie the Eagle of journalism. I write exclusively about my failures and humiliations, and yes, I will be writing about being on this programme.
I'm Gordon Smart. I'm the editor of the Sun Bazaar column. It's my job to make mischief in showbiz circles, and I hope to make mischief with Anne tonight.
OK, just to remind you, in each round there's £5,000 to be won. The fastest way is to create a chain of 9 correct answers. Break the chain and you lose all the money in that chain. Say bank before the question is asked and the money is safe. Round 1, 3 minutes on the clock. We'll start with the person whose name is first alphabetically. That's you, Andrew. Let's play The Weakest Link. The first question is for £100. Start the clock. Andrew, the familiar phrase often used to provide consolation is no news is what news?
No news is good news.
Correct, Liz. In fairy tales, in the story of Hansel and Gretel, which one is the girl?
Hansel.
Even Gretel. Kevin, in astronomy, what is the name of the star at the centre of our solar system?
Don't know.
The sun. Polly, in 2008, the MP and former editor of The Spectator, Boris Johnson, was elected to which office? Mayor of London or Sheriff of Nottingham?
Mayor of London.
Correct, David. In human biology, what is the general name of the thick mass of thread-like strands that grows on the head, in the armpits and elsewhere on the body?
Hair.
Correct, Martin. In romance, what K is a physical display of affection that has types called snogging and pecking?
Kissing.
Correct, Sharon. In English grammar, in the sentence, Kevin drives a white van, which word is the adjective?
Drives.
Even
white. Sorry.
Fabulous. Toby, a newspaper with a reputation for muckraking is known as a what? Scandal sheet or dirty duvet?
Scandal sheet.
Correct, Gordon. In food, which word for an ice cream dessert with added ingredients such as fruit, nuts and syrup sounds like the name of a day of the week?
Dessert. I don't know.
Sunday.
I'm nervous.
Andrew, in clothing, trousers with flared legs are sometimes known as bell what?
Pass.
Bottoms. Liz, in the media, what H is a word often used to refer to a journalist who writes dull and unoriginal work?
Hack.
Correct, Kevin. In a car, what is the common name of the foot pedal that is normally used to decrease speed?
Break.
Correct. Polly, in informal phrases such as his and hers or rock and roll, the letter N stands for which word?
And.
Correct, David. On the wedding bands posted in 2008 by Wayne Rooney and Colleen McLaughlin, she listed her occupation as what? Journalist or anarchist?
Journalist.
Correct, Martin. In maths, what is half of 32?
16.
Correct, Sharon. In history, the French Emperor Napoleon I had what surname?
Oh, I've gone blank. Pass. Sorry.
Bonaparte.
I know.
Well, if you knew, why didn't you say so?
I just don't know. I've just gone blank.
Toby, in some traditional societies, a ritual that is performed in an attempt to produce wet weather is known as a what dance?
A rain dance.
Correct, Gordon. In the media, which word meaning eccentric is the title of the gossip column in the Sun newspaper taken over in 2007 by Gordon Smart?
Bizarre.
Yes. Andrew, in biology, what is the name of the process by which living organisms have developed from earlier forms by means of natural selection?
Hold on. Don't I get to answer?
That was a fantastic first round. 9 opinionated, arrogant, self-centred, always right. You banked absolutely nothing. Who gets sued for libel if they describe themselves as intelligent? Who's got an exclusive brain cell? Not Kevin. One of you is about to leave with nothing. Think carefully. It's time to vote off who you think is the weakest link.
With no correct answers, Sharon is the weakest link. Statistically, Martin is the strongest link. But who will be the first to take the walk of shame?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Sharon.
Andrew.
Sharon.
Toby.
Liz.
Sharon.
Toby.
Sharon. Toby.
So, Toby, what's your book called?
It's called How to Lose Friends and Alienate People.
You've worked quickly tonight. You didn't answer a single question incorrectly. Why do you think so many people want to get rid of you?
I think it's because they think I'm going to win.
How long have you been a journalist?
About 24 years.
Have you worked on any national newspapers?
I've worked on quite a few.
So, let's go through them.
Well, the first paper I ever worked on was The Times.
What happened there?
I was fired.
The next one?
The Mail on Sunday.
What happened there?
I was fired.
The next one?
The Sunday Times.
What happened there?
Fired. I've been fired from pretty much every job I've ever had.
And now where are you working?
I'm working on The Weakest Link and I'm about to be fired.
No, you've got a newspaper job, have
And
you?
I'm an associate editor of The Spectator.
Who did you sleep with to get that job?
I slept with Boris Johnson.
Oh, not you as well.
And who's your boss?
Matthew Dancona.
And the big boss?
He is the big...
Why's that?
It's not because he's the big boss, it's because he's a terribly nice and very intelligent chap.
He got 2 questions wrong, so he's pretty pathetic, isn't he?
Oh, well, he didn't get a chance to answer the second question, to be fair.
You are really pathetic.
You ran out of time. Look, I've been fired from every job I've ever had. Give me a break.
Why Sharon?
Because she got both questions wrong.
Martin,
Yeah. Greetings.
you look very cool.
Thank you very much. So do you. Those shoes are corking.
Now, who do you work for?
I work for Loaded magazine.
Loaded?
Yes.
What sort of magazine is that?
It's a magazine that celebrates the finer things in life, like having fun, getting drunk, and nudity,
Yeah.
fast motorcycles, and talking rubbish.
And how would it work with me?
How long have you got? I mean,
Well, how would we take my clothes off?
well, now on TV, that'd be brilliant.
Was that what you were suggesting?
Viewing figures would soar.
Yeah. Would I be on the cover?
If that's what would happen, I would love to do that.
Could we put the cover price up that week?
Yeah, £3.50, 10 pence up.
Yeah. Tell me some of the columns that you run.
We've got a thing called Assess My Ass.
How would I do?
I think you'd be magnificent.
Good. And who are you voting off?
I voted for Sharon.
But it hasn't got Sharon written there.
It says Shazza, because I know her. Sorry.
So, Sharon.
Call me Shazza. Should I get my coat?
No, just stay where you are at the moment.
OK.
We'll take it slowly for
Okay.
you. Have you always been borderline stupid?
Yeah.
Drives? You think that's an adjective, do you?
I went completely blank. What can I say? You're terrifying. You're doing the old laser bits, that thing like Doctor Who. I thought I was going to get exterminated and go down a black hole or something.
No, we're just talking about you not knowing the difference between a verb and an adjective.
Very sorry.
Yeah.
My driver will drive me home in his white van. I'm the weakest link.
Just wait there, Sharon. I'll take this slowly for you.
OK.
Shazza.
Yes.
You are the weakest link.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. I just think, first off, I've been called borderline stupid by Anne Robinson, and I think she's got a point. I went completely blank. I'm going to say that was the scariest thing I've ever done.
Round 2, and so far you've banked absolutely nothing. You could have won £5,000 by now for charity. You're going to take 10 seconds off the time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Martin from Loaded. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Martin, in literature, the abbreviation biog is short for which word?
Biography.
Correct, Toby. A 2008 tourist guide described which country, the UK, as being obsessed with C-list celebrities and toffs, and where queuing is a national pastime.
England.
Correct, Gordon. In speech, a sequence of words that is difficult to say is usually called a tongue what?
Twister.
Correct, Andrew. In journalism, Pitman and T-line are common forms of a note-taking technique known as what? Shorthand or Bigfoot?
Shorthand.
Correct, Liz. The 2008 headlines, Manhattan Foursome Go Full Length and Verdict on Carrie and Co. referred to which film based on a TV series?
Sex and the City.
Correct, Kevin. In the spelling of the word pylon, meaning a steel structure that supports power cables, what's the second letter?
Why?
Correct, Polly. In women's magazines, the section that prints letters from readers about their personal difficulties is known alliteratively as the problem what?
Page.
Correct, David.
Bank.
In geography, what A is the name of the continent that occupies almost 1/3 of the world's land surface?
Africa.
Even Asia. Martin. In pop music, what is the surname of the brothers Noel and Liam in the rock group Oasis?
Gallagher.
Correct, Toby. According to the title of a column launched in 2006 in the Daily Mail, Liz Jones is addicted to what? Fashion or donuts?
Fashion.
Correct, Gordon. In US politics, what's the first name of the mother of Chelsea Clinton?
Hillary.
Correct, Andrew. In England and Wales, a barrister is defined as a lawyer who has been called to the what?
To the bar.
Correct, Liz.
Bank.
In food, what G is the name of the fruit that is dried to obtain currants, sultanas and raisins?
Grapes.
Correct, Kevin. In children's literature, in the Just Williams stories, the little girl Violet Elizabeth Bott famously threatened to scream and scream until she was what?
Blue. In the
Sick.
face. Sick.
Polly, in the TV sitcom Fawlty Towers, according to Basil, the waiter Manuel comes from which Spanish city?
Barcelona.
Correct, David. Which of today's contestants claims to have been fired from Vanity Fair, The Times, Independent Mail on Sunday, Evening Standard and Guardian?
Toby Young.
Correct, Martin.
Bank.
In Las Vegas in 2008, in his first professional fight in the USA, which Welsh boxer recovered from being knocked down to beat Bernard Hopkins?
Joe Calzaghe.
Correct, Toby. In the media, an advertisement that tries to discredit rival products is known as what? Knocking copy or knocking shop?
Knocking copy.
Correct, Gordon. In weather systems in the Southern Hemisphere, the month of July is in which season of the year?
Rainy season.
Winter. Andrew, the reindeer used by Santa, called Donner and Blitzen, take their names from the words for thunder and lightning in which language?
Norwegian.
Even German. Liz,
Bank.
in slang, what C is a word for a piece? Time's up. Out of a possible £5,000 in that round, you won 3,250. Who's gone undercover as the village idiot? Who hasn't got news for you? Time to vote off the weakest link.
According to the statistics, Martin is the strongest link. The weakest link is David. But will the votes follow the facts?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Liz.
Andrew.
David.
Andrew.
Andrew.
Toby.
Kevin.
Kevin.
David, which nationals have you worked for?
I've worked for The Independent on Sunday, The Guardian, The Observer, and The Times.
Do you always write about politics?
No.
No. What else have you written about?
International affairs, culture, occasionally about sport.
About getting fit?
I have also written about getting fit.
And going on a diet?
I've written about successfully running the marathon 2 years ago, so yes.
Why are you still fat?
I think that fat is a relative term, and you should have seen me
Well,
2
move
years
over.
ago.
Let's just move on.
Fine
You just
figure of
pulled
it
your
then.
stomach in.
Of course.
Turn sideways. You're still fat. You've pulled it in even more now.
No, that was the same level of pulling in as at the front. Because I'm not totally sure where the camera is.
Well, it's having difficulty because there's quite a width there.
In the time-honoured spirit of this programme, you can come and feel if you like.
You've just got the one job, have you?
At the moment, yes.
Whereas Andrew Neil, who you're voting off, he's got lots of jobs.
Yeah, but my reckoning is that he's not coming to the Times.
You hope.
That's, well, exactly, that's the risk I'm taking.
And why are you voting him off?
There's not room for two greybacks in this pack.
Did you think he was the worst player?
I think that he finds this arena difficult.
But if I told you he wasn't the worst player, but somebody fatter than him was the worst player, who would you guess it was?
I'd say that's no way of describing Toby Young at all.
OK, Liz, how long have you been a Fleet Street journalist?
Since about 1981.
Your age varies. How old are you saying you are today?
Today, I'm born in 1963, but that may change.
What are you famous for?
Spilling my guts for money, possibly.
Right. About what?
About my private life, my marriage, my cats.
What happened in your marriage?
I got divorced.
Yeah.
Quite
Why?
swiftly. Mainly because I was writing about my marriage.
Yeah. Is that the husband who had 7 affairs?
I think it was 8 in the end.
And now you mostly write about not getting laid?
Yes, but that was the case during my marriage as well.
And if you had your choice round here?
I've always had a thing for Toby, actually.
Have you? How much has he paid you to say that? And why are you getting rid of Andrew?
I think he got a couple of answers wrong. And also, when he was my boss at the Sunday Times, he didn't promote me.
So, Andrew, why does Private Eye think you're obsessed with Asian babes?
They like stereotypes and caricatures.
And that programme you do, which is called?
Which one?
How many do you do?
3.
Right, the political one on television with Michael Portillo and Diane Abbott.
This week. BBC One Thursday nights. 11:35. After question time.
Why can't you get them a bigger sofa?
Well, actually, we're doing the opposite. Every week we take an inch out of the sofa, so by Christmas she'll be sitting on his lap, all the other way round. Don't really care.
How long has Toby got at The Spectator?
Well, he was prepared to take a bullet for me in the first round, so I would say quite a while. At least to next week.
Nevertheless, Andrew, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Well, I would like to have stayed longer, but I didn't get all the questions wrong, and there was a bit of a ganging up there, I think. The Observer and the Times ganged up against me. Well, you expect that, you know, the low-circulation newspapers.
Round 3 and in the bag, £3,250. Another 10 seconds off the time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Martin. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Martin, as a stunt in 2003, Martin Daubney flew a model helicopter carrying a burger up to a Perspex box above the Thames containing which illusionist?
David Blaine.
Correct, Toby. The worldwide organisation founded in the UK in 1961 that campaigns for the release of prisoners of conscience is called what international?
Amnesty.
Correct, Gordon. In an orchestra, what is the name of the instrument that is the smallest, highest pitched and most common member of the string section?
A violin?
Correct. Liz.
Bank.
According to the TV theme song, which cartoon character claims to be smarter than the average bear?
Pass.
Yogi. Kevin. In satire, the stunningly vapid lifestyle columnist who features regularly in Private Eye magazine is called what? Polly Filler or Polly Vernon?
Polly Filler.
Correct, Polly. In customs, a golden jubilee is celebrated how many years after a silver jubilee?
25.
Correct, David.
Bank.
In science, which word rhyming with mass is the usual term for one of the 3 states of matter that is neither solid nor liquid?
Gas.
Correct, Martin. In pastimes, what tea is the name of the game in which small discs are flipped into a cup by pressing down on their edges with larger ones?
Tiddlywinks.
Correct, Toby. In cinema, Orson Welles wrote, produced, directed and starred in which 1941 Oscar-winning film about a fictitious newspaper tycoon?
Citizen Kane.
Correct, Gordon. In nature, the largest rainforest in the world shares its name with which South American river that it surrounds?
Amazon.
Correct. Liz, in
Bank.
memorable dates, the 20th of July 1969 was significant for which event? The birth of Michael Jackson or the first moonwalk?
First moonwalk.
Correct, Kevin. In self-help manuals, the 2007 book entitled The Naughty Girl's Guide to Life was co-written by Sharon Marshall and which so-called it girl?
Tara Palmer Tompkinson.
Correct, Polly.
Bank.
In human anatomy, the fleshy tissue called the gingiva that covers the jaw bones around the teeth is known by what common name?
Gums.
Correct, David. In Renaissance art, in the sculpture of the biblical hero David by Donatello, the severed head of which giant lies at his feet?
Goliath.
Correct, Martin. In
Bank.
media history, Time magazine named which leader as its person of the year for 1938? Neville Chamberlain or Adolf Hitler?
It was Adolf Hitler.
Correct, Toby. In the TV series Thunderbirds, what's the surname of the chauffeur who normally drives a pink Rolls-Royce with the registration plate Fab 1?
Parker.
Correct, Gordon. In chemistry, a thin cylindrical glass vessel open at one end and often used in experiments is called a test what?
Tube.
Correct. Liz, in
Bank.
pop music, the stage name of which singer, songwriter and musician was inspired by his wearing... Time's up, I can't complete the question. You won £2,750, but you had a chain of 13 correct answers. Somebody was banking and preventing you from reaching the target. Who's written more books than they've read? Whose next big interview deserves to be with the Benefits Office? It's time to vote on the weakest link.
For the third round in a row, Martin is the strongest link. David is statistically the weakest link. But can he survive the vote?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
David.
Liz.
Kevin.
Kevin.
Liz.
Martin. Liz.
Gordon. Who'd you write for?
Son.
Got your own column?
Yes.
Is it called Gordon?
Gordon Smart's Bazaar, Anne.
And the look tonight, is that boy band chic or local estate agent chic?
I like it.
No, what is it?
It's Marks and Spencer's, actually, Anne.
Is it? And you're a pop reporter, really?
Rock and roll, pop, yeah.
Yeah.
Cover all bases.
And what's your biggest scoop so far?
I broke the story about Madonna adopting, which is a big story.
And what are your ambitions when you grow up?
I'd like to maybe edit a national newspaper.
Really? Like Piers Morgan, Andy Coulson?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah. So what national newspaper would you like to edit and get fired from?
The Sun. But I wouldn't like to get fired.
And why do you want to get rid of Liz?
I thought she answered a couple of questions that I knew that I would have got.
So, Kevin, remind me who you work for.
Sunday Mirror.
How would you describe your current job?
Watching television and saying it's rubbish.
Would you regard yourself as a serious cultural commentator?
I regard myself as a very important cultural commentator, but certainly
Yeah.
not serious.
What do you aim to do with your commentaries?
To make people laugh at the expense of people on television,
OK.
because they all get too much money. You know what I mean?
So you're jealous of that, are you?
Yes. I'm
Okay.
fueled, I'm powered by jealousy.
OK, Kevin, who wrote Anne Robinson's desperate bid to regain her youthful good looks, pancaked with far too much makeup, the outtake TV host's surgically altered face reminded me of Queen of Fake, Joan Rivers, without the laughs.
That's called bang to rights.
I never wrote that. I'm sure I didn't.
What, you haven't even
I
got
don't
the
care.
balls to defend him?
I'm sorry, but I don't care. It was funny. It was funny, you know.
Well, nobody laughed.
They did. You weren't listening. Look, they're laughing now.
Only at you squirming.
Well, you could be right.
Why do you want to get rid of Liz?
Because she banked before me every single time. Banked too much.
Liz, you are the weakest link. Fine.
Anne looks fantastic. Without a lot of sort of raw material to work with, she looks fantastic. She makes the most of herself. I love her shoes.
Round 4, and in the kitty, £6,000. Another 10 seconds coming off the time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Martin, yet again. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Martin, in language, what D is the past participle of the verb to drink, used as a term for someone euphemistically described as tired and emotional?
Drunk.
Correct. Toby. In celebrities, in 2008, the former atomic kitten, Kerry Katona, gave birth to a boy called Maxwell Croft, who is named after which publicist?
Max Clifford.
Correct, Gordon. In customs, which term for a military or sporting prize is also used to refer to a wife married as a status symbol?
Trophy.
Correct, Kevin. In cities, Hanoi is the capital of which present-day Asian country?
Vietnam.
Correct, Polly.
Bank.
The educational establishment attended by Andrew Neil is called what? Paisley Grammar School or Kelsey Grammar School?
Paisley Grammar School.
Correct, David. In media, which word meaning small was the nickname of Roland Furhoff, who was chairman of the Observer newspaper in the 1980s and 90s?
Tiny.
Correct, Martin. In TV, in the original series of Star Trek, which phaser setting was often used to incapacitate but not kill an opponent?
Stun.
Correct, Toby. In Waterbirds, the name of which writing implement is also a term for a female swan?
A bill.
A pen.
Pen.
Gordon. In UK pop music, what numerical title is shared by a 1985 #1 single by Paul Hardcastle and a 2008 #1 album by Adele?
Could you repeat the question, sir?
In UK pop music, what numerical title is shared by a 1985 #1 single by Paul Hardcastle and a 2008 #1 album by Adele?
I don't know. Pass.
19. Kevin, in fashion, what V is the first name of the designer with the professional surname Westwood, known for her punk stars in the 1970s?
Vivian.
Correct, Polly. Founded by Kevin O'Sullivan, the Shafter Awards for Bad Journalism were inspired by a false story that which royal was to appear in Crossroads?
Charles. Prince Charles.
Princess Margaret. David, in medicine, which general term for an illness literally means lack of comfort?
I don't know.
Disease. Martin. In tabloid journalism, for reasons of emphasis, which word usually follows phrases such as neighbours from and drivers from?
Allegedly.
Bank.
You have to bank when he answers a question correctly.
Just in case.
The correct answer was hell. You won £1,000. Who needs to make a front page apology? Who should have a bye-bye line? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
As the only player to get all his answers right, Kevin is the strongest link. Statistically, the weakest link is Toby, but will the other players realise that?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Polly.
Gordon.
Gordon.
Toby.
Kevin.
Kevin.
We have a tie team. Kevin and Gordon have 2 votes each. So, Polly, who do you write for?
I write for The Observer.
What do you specialise in?
I interview celebrities.
Do you?
Yeah, I write...
Who's your favourite celebrity?
What, of all time?
Yeah, who you've interviewed?
Paul McKenna.
Why's that?
It's entirely possible he hypnotised me in the course of time we spent together, I don't really know, but he did nail me into a coffin at the end of it.
Why did you do that?
Because I was claustrophobic and he wanted to cure me. And he did.
I seem to remember you once wrote a piece which said, "Admit it, you hate me because I'm thin."
Yes, I did.
Was that about David Aronovich?
It wasn't, no.
Why are you voting for Gordon?
Because he didn't know that Paul Hardcastle sang 19.
Toby, do you think the reason you keep getting fired is because you're not properly qualified?
Well, I didn't get a journalism school, but
No.
I don't suppose anyone here did.
Now, all successful journalists, or most of them, get a third. Did you get a third?
I didn't.
No. What did you get?
I got a first.
So you failed there too.
But I failed there too. Can't do anything right.
Why do you want to get rid of Kevin?
I felt, in fairness, he probably has been, over the course of the game, the weakest player of the remaining contestants.
So when the vote's tied, the strongest link in the last round has to cast the deciding vote. And the strongest link in the last round was Kevin. I haven't spoken to you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Anne.
So how do you think I'm looking tonight, Kevin?
Absolutely fantastic.
Good. We scared you into submission.
You sure have.
OK, who would you like to get rid of?
Gordon.
Why?
Because he's not me.
Gordon, you are the weakest link. Bye.
To lose in a tie to Kevin O'Sullivan is an absolute sickener, and I knew that he was the strongest link in that round, so I knew my fate straight away. But to lose to Kevin O'Sullivan is a real body blow. I'm disappointed and deflated. I'm going to hit the green room really hard, like all good journalists should do.
Round 5, in the bank, £7,000. Another 10 seconds off the time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Kevin. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Kevin, in criminal activities, what B is a term for goods that have been made and distributed illegally, especially liquor and musical recordings?
Black.
No, bootleg. Polly, the 2000 book in which David Aronovich recounted his aquatic adventures as a large man in a small canoe is entitled Paddling to Where?
India.
Jerusalem. David, in UK geography, which word for a military engagement is the name of a Sussex town 6 miles northwest of Hastings?
Battle.
Correct, Martin. In celebrity body shapes, which of these TV cooks is more usually described as having a voluptuous figure, Nigella Lawson or Jamie Oliver?
Nigella.
Correct, Toby. The City of London skyscraper, popularly known as the erotic gherkin, was designed by the architect Sir Norman who?
Foster.
Correct, Kevin. Which everyday term for footwear designed to be worn for athletic activities is also a word that means sports coaches?
Trainer.
Correct, Polly.
Bank.
In maths, what is 90 multiplied by 5?
450.
Correct, David. In classical music, the two composers named Johann Strauss, known as the elder and the younger, were both born and died in which city?
Vienna.
Correct, Martin. In the press, Jean Frampton, whom Ian Fleming employed to type his James Bond manuscripts, is often referred to as the real-life Miss Who?
Moneypenny.
Correct, Toby. In cocktails, a pina colada consists of rum, coconut and the juice of which fruit?
Banana.
Pineapple. Kevin. In cinema, released in 2008, the fourth in a series of adventure films is entitled Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal what?
Skull.
Correct, Polly. In beauty, what C is a term for fatty deposits on the thighs that give the skin a dimpled appearance?
Cellulite.
Correct, David. In stereotypes, the phrase used to satirise a hearty public schoolgirl is jolly hockey what?
Stick.
Correct, Martin.
Bank.
In space travel, the astronaut who in the 1980s legally adopted the first name Buzz has what surname?
Do you know what? I don't know.
Aldrin. Toby, on the TV quiz show University Challenge, the sound of which percussion instrument signals the end of the contest?
A gong.
Correct. Kevin, in geography, which US state was formerly known as Russian America?
Alaska.
Correct, Polly. In cartoons, a frog is more commonly depicted smiling broadly and saying...
Bank.
Time's up. Polly, your bank was too late, and I couldn't complete the question. Who now needs subbing down? Whose story no longer stands up? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
The strongest link is David because he didn't get an answer wrong. Toby is statistically the weakest link. But who will the team want off?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Toby.
Kevin.
Toby.
Toby. Polly.
So, Martin, you've answered more questions correctly than anyone else so far.
I'm here for the working classes.
Yeah. And you're probably doing it with a hangover, are you?
I'm sobering up rapidly, by the second, believe me.
And why do you want to get rid of Toby?
Well, I think any man who doesn't know what's in his cocktails deserves a swift rap over the knuckles, to be
Quite
honest.
agree. David, how do you think you're doing?
Clinging on by my fingernails.
Yeah. Interesting choice of who you want to get rid of.
Yeah, they're all interesting at the moment.
And he's sort of your rival on here, isn't he?
I actually think that Martin, with his first from Manchester University, the same university I graduated from with a 2-1, is a very, very dark horse indeed. And I was very impressed.
Not that dark, because he's done better than you.
Exactly.
So just remind me why you're getting rid of Toby.
I think in the end, because he didn't know there was pineapple in a pina colada.
It is shaming.
Toby, you are the weakest link. Bye.
I'm kicking myself for getting pina colada wrong. You know, I was laughing at Kevin O'Sullivan for not knowing that the sun is, you know, the centre of our solar system, and here I am saying that pina coladas are made with bananas when it's right there in the question. Pina!
Round 6 and in the bag, £8,500. Another 10 seconds off the time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's David. Let's play The weakest link. Start the clock. According to the works of Thomas Malory, which mythical figure pulled a sword out of a stone to become King of all England?
King Arthur.
Correct, Martin. In pop music, the title of a 2008 UK #1 single by Madonna with Justin Timberlake referred to what length of time?
I don't know.
4 minutes. Kevin, in motoring, the former racing driver who founded his own car company in 1929 was Enzo who?
Fittipaldi.
Even Ferrari. Polly, in Scotland, what is the name of the village on the English border where until 1940 the blacksmith was authorised to perform marriages?
Pass.
Gretna. David, in canine breeds, what A is another name for the German Shepherd dog?
Alsatian.
Correct, Martin. In newspaper history, the so-called First Lady of Fleet Street who shared her surname with a chess piece was Jean who?
Knight.
Rook. Kevin, in computer games set in the criminal underworld, the subtitles Vice City, Liberty City and San Andreas all follow which 3 words?
No idea.
No, Grand Theft Auto. Polly, in the film musical West Side Story, the character Maria sings a song in the dress shop entitled I Feel What?
Pretty.
Correct, David. In economics, in 2008, the price of which commodity broke through the landmark $100 a barrel figure for the first time, beer or oil?
Oil.
Correct, Martin. In cookery, which variety of pasta popularly served with a bolognese sauce has a name that literally means thin string in Italian?
Spaghetti.
Correct, Kevin.
Bank.
A fine mesh fabric hung around a bed to protect against the blood-sucking insects from which it takes its name is called a what net?
Mosquito.
Correct, Polly. In Irish folklore, what ale is the name for one of the little people who has a hoard of gold and is often seen making a single shoe?
Leprechaun.
Correct, David. In 1948, the Chicago Daily Tribune memorably predicted the wrong result in the presidential election with its headline, Dewey defeats whom?
Truman.
Correct, Martin.
Bank.
On Radio 4, which host of the TV series Dragon's Den joined the Today programme in 2008 as one of its regular presenters?
John Humphreys.
No, Evan Davis. Kevin, in novelty items, the bouncing round of... Time's up, I can't complete the question, and you banked £1,000, so consider this. Should Martin be unloaded, or are Polly's chances slimmer than she is? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Having answered the most questions correctly, David is the strongest link. Statistically, the weakest link is Martin. But whose game is over?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Martin.
Martin.
Kevin.
Going for Kevin.
Another tie team, Martin and Kevin, 2 votes each. Kevin, why Martin?
Because David said that he thought he was his biggest enemy, so I assumed David was going to vote for Martin, but David has badly let me down.
Martin?
Yeah.
Why Kevin?
Because I know that Kevin wouldn't be too heartbroken if he was the next to go to the bar.
Got that right.
When the vote's tied, the strongest link has to cast the deciding vote, and the strongest link was David.
I'm going to vote Kevin off now because he said he didn't like me anymore.
Well, that's fairly popular newspaper thinking, isn't it? Kevin, you are the weakest link. Bye.
I was pretty devastated when Anne read out that thing that I wrote about her. I honestly don't remember writing it, but I'm sure Anne would be the first to admit, if you can't take it, don't dish it out.
Round 7, in the bank now, £9,500. Another 10 seconds off the time. We'll start the strongest link from the last round. That's David. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. David, in human anatomy, tissue types known as grey matter and white matter are constituents of which major organ of the body?
The brain.
Correct, Martin. In language, what C is a term for a stone pillar that can also refer to a narrow vertical block of words in a newspaper?
A column.
Correct, Polly. In theatre and film, the musical Cabaret by Kander and Ebb is set in which European capital city?
Berlin.
Correct, David. In most printed versions of Macbeth by Shakespeare, the first stage direction includes the words enter 3 what?
3 witches. 3
Correct, Martin. Which actor, writer and gay icon born on Christmas Day in 1908 famously described himself as one of the stately homos of England?
Oscar Wilde.
No, Quentin Crisp. Polly, what's the 3-letter name for something that can be pressed to produce either a note on a piano or a character on a computer monitor?
Pass.
Key. David, in animal abilities, which bird has achieved the fastest recorded speed for any creature running on 2 legs?
Ostrich.
Correct. Martin. In entertainment, what is the full name of the Liverpudlian TV personality who has the nickname Cheggers?
Keith Chegwin.
Correct. Polly. In psychology, what H is the name for the sensory experience in which a person hears, sees or feels things that are not actually present?
Hallucination.
Correct. David. The national newspaper Today, that was the first UK daily to be printed in colour, was launched in 1986 by the entrepreneur Eddie who?
Shah.
Correct. Martin. In children's literature, which much-loved bear could be described as a Peruvian asylum seeker?
Paddington Bear.
Correct. Polly.
Bank.
In pop music, in 2005, a song by which singer born 70 years earlier became the 1,000th #1 single in UK chart history?
I don't know.
Elvis Presley. David. In European royalty, the dynasty that has ruled the Netherlands since 1815 shares its name with which fruit?
Orange.
Correct. Martin.
Bank.
In radio, Barwick Green is the name of the distinctive signature tune of which long-running drama series?
It's The Archers.
Correct. Polly.
Bank.
In cinema, I'm having an old friend for dinner by is the last line of which 1991 Oscar-winning film? Time's up. Was it on the tip of your tongue?
No.
No. The correct answer is The Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't do badly. You won £1,700. In round 8, you get the chance to treble what you bank. Now, think carefully, because you need to raise the bank balance and you need to hang on to the best player. It's time to vote on the weakest link.
At this crucial stage in the game, David remains the strongest link. Polly is statistically the weakest link. But who will lose out in the final vote?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Martin.
Polly.
Sorry, but it's Polly.
David. Why Polly?
I just think that Martin's going to make us more money in the final round.
Martin, David says you've got a first for Manchester.
Yeah.
But you don't tell anyone that, do you?
I keep quiet about that. One doesn't like to brag, Anne.
What did you get a first in?
Here's where the myth is shattered. Geography.
Oh! Why Polly?
Because she got a couple wrong, and I think my friend here is going to make us a lot of lolly in the final. I think he's the best player.
OK, well, you guys have played fairly, actually. Polly, you are the weakest link. Bye.
If I had to write a headline for myself, it would probably be Devon Trash does good or better than expected.
OK, round 8, in the bank, £11,200. In this round, there's 90 seconds, but whatever you win will be trebled. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round, that's David. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. David, in maths, on a circular pie chart, the figure of 25% is represented by a sector of how many degrees?
45.
90. Martin. In TV, the US comedy drama series Ugly Betty is centred around the offices of a fictional magazine with what title, Mode or Toad?
Mode.
Correct. David. In the term for a spelling mistake, the phrase typographical error is often abbreviated to which 4-letter word?
Typo.
Correct. Martin.
Bank.
In food, what is the usual name for the bony part of the neck of a sheep that provides poor quality meat and is often used to make stew?
Oh, God. Skillet.
Scrag. David. In sport history, in 1780, a horse named Diomed, owned by Sir Charles Bunbury, won the first running of which flat race?
Derby.
Correct. Martin. What surname is shared by a tabloid journalist named Carol and a fictional film gangster called Bugsy and the heroine of an Irish folk song named Molly?
Malone.
Correct. David. In Wildlife of the Americas, what H is a family of small birds with long beaks that can beat their wings up to 80 times per second?
Hummingbird.
Correct. Martin.
Bank.
In literature, the town of Knutsford that was the inspiration for the novel Cranford by Elizabeth Gaskell is in which English county?
Oxfordshire.
Cheshire. David. On Radio 1 in 1980, in a slot called Our Tune, which DJ began reading out stories of personal heartbreak sent in by listeners?
John Peel.
Simon Bates. Martin. In fortune-telling, wands, cups, swords and pentacles are the 4 suits in the minor arcana in which type of cards?
Gin rummy.
Time's up. The correct answer was tarot. You won £750, which we will treble It gives you prize money tonight of £13,450. There can only be one winner. Now, up to 5 questions each. If there's a tie, we'll go for sudden death. So, David and Martin for £13,450. Let's play The Weakest Link. David, as the strongest link in the last round, you have the choice of who goes first.
I will.
David, in a ceremony aboard his yacht in 1999, which media tycoon married his third wife, Wendy Deng, who was 36 years his junior?
Rupert Murdoch.
That is the correct answer. Martin. When it was first broadcast in the UK in 2005, the credits to which TV series included the names of actresses called Huffman, Cross, Sheridan and Longoria?
Desperate Housewives.
That is the correct answer. David. Which device that changes the voltage of an electric current shares its name with one of the range of toys advertised as being robots in disguise?
Transformer.
That is the correct answer. Martin. In comedy, the character played by Peter Kay in Phoenix Nights was referring to which savoury foodstuff when he said, "It's the future, I've tasted it"?
Would that be Scotch eggs?
No, that wouldn't be Scotch eggs. That'd be garlic bread. David, in which 2001 novel by Ian McEwan, released as a film in 2007, are events set in motion when a character called Bryony witnesses her sister Cecilia jump into a fountain?
Atonement.
That is the correct answer. Martin. In 1877, the journalist Henry Morton Stanley reached the Atlantic coast after leading an expedition from Central Africa along the course of which major river?
The Congo?
That is the correct answer. David, in pop music, the lyrics of the song Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen feature the name of which Renaissance scientist?
Galileo.
That is the correct answer. Martin, in wildlife, what is the common name for the Australian mammal, sometimes called a New Holland sloth and a native bear?
That's the koala bear.
That is the correct answer. David. In theatre, Harold Pinter based his 1978 play Betrayal in part on his 7-year affair with which female journalist and broadcaster?
Lady Antonia Fraser.
The correct answer is Joan Bakewell. Martin. Which King of England, born in Normandy in 1027, was the son of a man known as the Devil and was himself nicknamed the Bastard?
Alfred the Great.
The correct answer is William the Conqueror. That means, David, you are today's strongest link and you go away with £13,450. What are you going to do with the money?
I'm going to give it to the Anthony Nolan Trust.
Martin.
Yeah, so near but so far. Still with my life.
You leave with nothing.
Used to that.
Join us again for The Weakest Link. Goodbye.
It's surprising how much winning makes you feel kind of mellow and benign.
I've never been more serious about anything in my life than getting Anne Robertson to pose naked for Loaded. It would be a massive seller. There's a big market in the mature end of the spectrum.
Explore the cathedral city of Edinburgh with Aled Jones and Songs of Praise, next on BBC One.
He's back and ready to take on the biggest